Hi there, welcome to iQuanta's YouTube channel dedicated to your success as an aspirant. We have a singular goal where we want to see you in your dream college. So if you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon so that you get the notifications whenever we upload a session, right? Otherwise, if you don't do that, we'd meet each other only accidentally while you're scrolling through. So my name is Vikrant. I am your personal coach for all things related to English, communication skills and mental aspects of the preparation. And today I am going to talk about a question type that a lot of people have probably been bothered by, and that is the tone-based questions in reading comprehension. Now, per se, if I look at tone-based questions, we don't really get very many tone-based questions in our exam. But that said, it is a question type that is important to learn because it helps you in eliminating close answer choices in quite a few other areas. So when it comes to inference-based questions, you'd be able to utilize these. When it comes to critical reasoning, you'd be able to utilize your understanding of tone. Hell, even when it comes to solving fill-in-the-blank questions, you'd realize that tone plays a big role, and therefore tones are an important concept to master. So my goal in this session is to ensure that by the end of it you have tremendous conceptual clarity. But before I begin, I have a question for you. When you talk to others, what is it that people trust more? They trust the words you say, or they trust the manner in which you go on to say those words? What's your take? So keep that answer in your mind, and then you'd realize why I have this question at the beginning of our session. So let's start. So whenever I teach, there is a particular framework that I use in order to take you through the question types. So somehow my fonts have become off color. It's okay, we can always go ahead and autocorrect. So the framework that I subconsciously use is the USA framework. Now what does it mean? Whenever I take you through a question, my goal is to ensure that first up, you understand that question, because if you don't understand it, obviously, how would you be able to answer it correctly? Once you understand the question, then the next thing that we think of is the ability required to answer that question. So see, in your exam, every single question is there because the examiner is looking for some qualities, some competencies in you. So we need to know about that ability, and then finally, once we know about the ability, then we go ahead and talk about the strategy to acquire that ability. So when it comes to tone-based questions, these are the three things that I need to have in your mind by the end of our session on tones. So let's start with a very obvious question. What do we really mean by the tone of the author? So pause the video here, think it over and see whether you have the necessary clarity or not, because if you don't, then probably that's where the problem is coming from. Paused, thought. You want me to now dive deeper? So let's see. So in order to answer this particular question, I want to take you into the world of communication. So I'm sure you go ahead and talk to a lot of individuals. You also get to listen to a lot of people. So have you ever wondered how this process of communication works? How we express ourselves while talking to others? And mind you, I'm not even talking about writing yet. I'm saying when we talk, we have some ideas in our mind. We want to ensure that those ideas reach the mind of the other person. So how do we ensure that those ideas are transferred, are transmitted? So there are quite a few different things that we actually use in order to accomplish that job. So for instance, we'd use some words to express ourselves, but that's not it. You may also go ahead and utilize body language. Then of course you go ahead and use your voice to express yourself. And then there are more things, right? Clothes, color, distance. Remember, there are times when we want to threaten somebody. In such cases, we violate their personal space. We go ahead and stand right in front of them, looking into their eyes menacingly, threateningly. That's communication. So there are a lot of other things that we use, but right now let's focus on these three major things that we use. So when I talk about the words, can I say that the words represent the part which corresponds to what was said? And when it comes to body language and voice, these two things taken together basically go ahead and talk about how it was said. Or in other words, this is the part that determines the manner. And can I say that both of these things are what was said and how it was said? Both of these things are important. In fact, there have been quite a few studies that tell us that if your words and your body language and voice are in conflict, then people tend to trust our body language and our voice more than they trust our words. So do focus on words, do focus on body language, but right now I want to focus your attention on this particular aspect of communication, voice. You realize that our voice happens to have a lot of different properties. In fact, chances are that somebody has said this to you, or maybe you've heard someone say this, that if you want to become an effective speaker, you need to learn to modulate your voice. You know, heard of voice modulation? So when they say voice modulation, what do they really mean? So we know modulation is change, but what is it that we change? Our voice must have certain properties, right, that we can change. So yes, our voice actually happen to have 4 core properties. So the very first property is the rate of speech. Okay, the number of words that you speak in a single minute. So you can choose to speak fast, you can choose to speak slow. So you can vary this particular aspect of your delivery, and that is voice modulation, or at least one part of it. Then your voice also happens to have something called volume. You can choose to speak loudly, you can also drop it all down to a whisper. So that is also another aspect of voice, and as a result another aspect of voice modulation. Then have you heard of something called frequency, or as we at times call it, pitch? So you can speak with a lot of bass in your voice. You can also speak with these higher notes, what we call the head voice. So voice modulation would actually mean using that entire range of pitch or frequency. And in fact, hey, here is a pro tip. If your voice lacks bass, work on it, because if you don't have bass, chances are that people will not take you seriously. So the bass adds a lot of stuff. And then similarly, your voice happens to have this 4th and the last trait called the tone. So what exactly is a tone? Let me say something, the exact same thing. The only thing that I will change, the only thing that I will vary will be the tone, and then we can talk. So what I am going to say is this. That's it. So I can look at somebody and say, my dear friend. Or I can look at somebody else and say, my dear friend. Notice, my dear friend. My dear friend. You notice I've said the exact same thing, but then you tell me the message that is getting conveyed here in both of those cases, is that the same? Despite the fact that I'm using the exact same set of words. Am I expressing the same thing? In fact, in the second case, am I even being friendly? Not really, right? So what changed? In the first case, I actually had a bit of warmth. In the second case, no warmth. In fact, it would perhaps sound sarcastic. You could perhaps feel that hint of animosity, dislike, condescension, the way I delivered these, right? So that is tone. Now what does tone convey? The tone communicates that undercurrent of emotions, that undercurrent of attitude. So now to answer that question that I asked you a while ago, what exactly is tone? Well, tone is nothing but the emotional coloring of the message or the attitude of the speaker towards an individual, towards a subject matter, towards a phenomenon, whatever. So whenever the examiner asks us about the author's tone, he is basically asking us that, hey, can you figure out the author's attitude or emotions? So now you understand the question. Now the good thing is that you, I don't know whether you believe it or not, but you're a champion of identifying the tones. You don't believe this? Let me ask you something. Has it ever happened to you that you called up a friend of yours and your friend picked up the phone and uttered one sentence, just one sentence? You heard that sentence, you was like, hey, why are you talking like this? Is your dad around? Should I call you back later? And your friend says, yes, yes, yes. So how are you able to figure out from just a sentence said by your friend that your friend's dad is around? The way that sentence was delivered was different, right? The tone changed and you could figure that out. So you're a champion of identifying tones, and therefore the tone-based question should be easy for you. There it is. Go ahead, solve these questions. But hey, hang on. I know what's happening in your mind. You'd probably say that as long as I get to listen to somebody, I am able to figure out tones. Yes, I'm a champion of it. But then you'd say, Yaar Vikrant, you know what? The passages do not have sound. So when there is no sound, that's when I struggle. So how do I identify the correct tones in this particular situation? So let's go ahead and talk about that as well. So how do you figure out the tone of the author from a passage? How do you figure out the tone in a situation where you do not have access to the voice of the speaker? The answer is very simple. Focus on the words used by the author, and I'll tell you, see, the principle is, at the end of the day, tone is emotion, attitude. Can I for a brief while say, tone is our state of mind? So the deal is, when our state of mind changes, our choice of words also changes. So imagine there is a day when you're very happy, and then there is a day when you are very angry. You go through the exact same event in your life, but then in one case you are happy, in the other case you are angry. Chances are that you'd respond to that same event differently. Chances are that you'd end up using a completely different set of words in those situations. So our state of mind affects our choice of words, and therefore if we focus on even the words, we can figure out the tone. And when I say words, let me also highlight a couple of categories that do a better job of it. So if you focus on especially the verbs and the modifiers used by the author, modifiers basically are adjectives and adverbs used by the author, then they give you a very clear indication of the author's state of mind. And in order to do that, you need to realize that the words do communicate emotions and attitude. So in order to do that, you need to level up your game when it comes to vocabulary. So level up how? Let me tell you. So whenever you look at a word, it has a meaning, right? But do you realize that a word actually has two different meanings? One of those meanings is known as a denotation, and the other one is called a connotation. So a denotation is essentially the dictionary definition of the word, whereas the connotation talks about the emotions that are evoked by that word. Same word. For example, I picked up a word from a dictionary. Okay, the word is skinny. Now look at the denotation, look at the dictionary definition. it means very thin. But then I want to draw your attention to the connotations. Now notice, when the dictionary describes skinny, the dictionary says that it is a word which is mainly disapproving. In fact, look at the example too. You should eat more, you are too skinny. So yes, this word means very thin, but when you use it for a person, the emotions that it evokes are negative. So can I say that skinny is a negative word? So when you look at words, you'd realize that there are times when you come across a set of words which all have the same meaning, the same dictionary definition, but they can differ in terms of connotation. Some of them can be positive, some can be negative, some can be neutral. For example, now we know skinny is negative, but let me give you another word. Check this word out. Slender. Slender also means thin, but then we use slender when we find that thinness attractive. So this is a positive word. Are you aware? So can you look at a word and figure out the connotation of the word? Here are some more examples. Look at these two sentences. I can say Sam is quite domineering. I can say Sam is quite assertive. Now, domineering and assertive, both of these words happen to have the same meaning. Both of these words essentially mean that the individual is being forceful. But we use domineering when we do not like that behavior. So this is a negative word. On the other hand, we use assertive when we do like that behavior. So this is a positive word. So when I say Sam is quite domineering, my tone is negative. But when I say Sam is quite assertive, my tone is positive. Here is another example. Look at this. So I can say the man was inebriated, I can say the man was drunk, but what changes with this word? What changes? So you notice, my attitude shifts. When I call somebody drunk, I am belittling that man. I am looking down on him. On the other hand, when I say inebriated, I am still saying the same thing, but I am using a word which is less negative. I am using a word which is formal. So that intensity of that negative emotion, of that attitude changes. I am not being as negative here. It's mild, whereas this other one is intense. Isn't it? Let me give you one more example. Let us say that somebody comes to you and presents you a plan to prepare for the exam. You don't like this plan, so you can call this plan impractical. You can also choose to call this plan idiotic. So what changes? In impractical, you are telling that person that, hey, this plan will not work. Negative, right? But when you switch over to idiotic, you notice how much more hurtful it has become now. So when you say impractical, I'll probably say that it shows your disapproval. In idiotic, you are now being hurtful, acerbic, bitter, vitriolic. So that changes. So focus on the word choice, particularly the connotations involved with various words, in case you are aware of these, and the tone will become crystal clear to you. Okay, so here is a mini quiz. So check this out. Here are two words. What do you think? What's the difference between the two? In both the words, the person that you are talking about is behaving like a child. What's the difference? When you like that behavior, you use childlike. So childlike laughter, childlike curiosity. So that is positive. On the other hand, when you do not like that behavior, that's childish. Here is another one. So frugal versus miserly. Well, at this juncture, maybe some people will get to me and get back to me and say, "यार मुझे तो meanings भी नहीं पता इनके." But that's a different kind of vocab issue. But yeah, frugal and miserly are people who do not like spending money. Now, when you like that behavior, you call that person frugal. So, you know, all these great men, they typically happen to have a frugal lifestyle. On the other hand, when you don't like that behavior, remember that friend of yours who never offers to pay when you go out together? Just keeps his money in his pocket, hates to separate it from himself, miserly. So that's positive, that's negative. Now that we are at it, one more example. Cheap versus inexpensive. Notice cheap, negative, inexpensive is a neutral word. So here is one concrete tip, concrete suggestion for you. Start working on your vocabulary, and along with the meaning of the word, along with the dictionary definition of the word, start focusing on the connotations too, because that will help you pick up the author's tone. So have a look at these three sentences. Now, can you focus on the word choice in each one of the three and figure out whether each one of these sentences is positive, negative or neutral? So go ahead, pause the video right here, go through these carefully, answer, and then we can talk. Welcome back. So let us see. When I look at the first sentence, the king entered the throne room ahead of the procession. That's neutral. But when I look at the second sentence, you notice words like pompous, insolently, gaudy. All of these, I see these three words which are very clearly negative. So the sentence also becomes, so this N is for neutral, I'll just write this for negative, and then look at the third one. Now see the word choice, elegant. Okay, again elegant throne, let's just change this. Let's call it commanding throne, prestigious. So now we are using positive words, so this sentence is going to be positive. So the tone becomes positive. So this is the ability that I want you to have whenever you read a passage and there is a tone-based question. Just see whether the author is positive, negative or neutral. That is something that you can surely do after paying attention to these words. And in case you can't, start working on vocabulary, and I'm sure this ability will be yours. So let's go ahead and have a look at a question. So here is an IPMAT question asked in Rohtak IPMAT 2019. So the question was, the author's tone in the final paragraph can best be described as. So there are times when they base this question on the entire passage. There are times when they limit it to a particular paragraph. There are times when they limit it to a particular phenomenon, instance or person mentioned in the passage. And you had these choices. Okay. So instead of making you read the entire passage, let me take you to the final paragraph, okay, the relevant part for this question. Here it is. So why don't you pause this video right now and read it. Okay, so you're done reading it. Now I want you to think of the author's emotion or attitude. Once you've done that, let me take you over to that question once again. So what is it that you would like to mark as your answer to this particular question? Now you notice this other challenge, the last piece of the puzzle. You need to know the meanings of each one of these four answer choices, because if you do not, you'd still not be able to answer this question. So far, what did I tell you? I've told you what tone is, emotions or attitude. I've told you how we figure out that tone. We figure that out by focusing on the word choice of the author. I've also told you that when you look at those words, you know, words have denotation and even more importantly connotation. So you need to become aware of the connotations, and in case you do not, level up your vocabulary game so that you become better at it. And here is the last piece of the puzzle. Even if you do all of those things that I've told you so far, you may not be able to answer the question if you do not know the meanings of these words. So this last thing that I want you to do is that start working on your tone related vocabulary. There are around 300 words that we use to talk about our emotions and attitude, right? 100 odd words out of those 300 are already known to you. That leaves you with 200. Out of those 200, we use only 60-70 words more frequently. So you can probably start with those high frequency words, and then subsequently you can expand it and maybe go on and learn the rest of the words as well. So for instance, here when I look at this word, the word is remorseful. What do you think? What is the meaning of remorseful? If you're remorseful, it means that you are feeling sad and guilty. Hopeless, well, that is something that I hope you know. Perplexed, if you're perplexed, you are confused. And if you are insistent, then it means that you insist. So to insist basically means to make continual and persistent demands. To insist can mean that you are unwilling to let go of something, or you are unwilling to back down, right? So when I say, yeah, why don't you walk out of this room, and you don't, and I insist, then it means that I'm really serious about it. In fact, at the beginning of the session, I told you something, no? Subscribe to the channel, press the bell icon. I insist. Do that. Okay. So now that you know this, which one of the four will be best? Is the author feeling sad and guilty? Let us check. Anything here that tells you that he's guilty? He's basically saying that the media highlights violent collisions, and that leads to a bad influence on the players. And then it ends with, players must not be encouraged to trade their careers, their health, their happiness, and even their lives for the sake of a game. So he's saying stop doing those things. Look at the word must. So is he remorseful? No, the author has not done anything that he'll feel guilty about. Is he hopeless? Does the author feel nothing can be done about the situation? No, he ends with a clear-cut suggestion. Is he confused? No. But is he insistent? Yes, that must in the last sentence tells us that the author is serious about it, and therefore we will go ahead and pick up insistent. So that's a bit of the underlying concepts that are needed to help you become a boss of tone-based questions. But then this alone will not really work. I want you to go ahead and practice more. Now, how do you practice? I think the easiest solution for you will be to join iQuanta's course, because we take you through tons of practice, application classes, all that material on the dashboard, and not to forget the mentors who can help you every step of the way. Alternatively, you can take a chance and then maybe pick up material at random from here and there, and hopefully that can help. But then please do practice. But while practicing, keep in mind that it is not practice that makes us perfect. It's perfect practice that makes us perfect. It has to be done in the right way, the right manner, and that is something that you can always learn from experts. And wherever you are confused, you can always reach out to us, and we will certainly help you move along the right path. So once again, if you're new here, do subscribe to the channel. If you like this session, hit that like button to let me know that it is working. And if there is anything else that is bothering you, confusing you, drop it down in the comments below. We would love to hear from you, and we would love to offer you a solution. Right? So that's it from me in this particular session. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, stay safe, stay focused, and do stay in touch. Right? Have a great day. See you.